Hey,
Hey, what's up?
Steve
All
Berman.
right, so if you're not familiar with Eminem's music, he loves skits, dude. In every one of his albums, he has at least a handful of skits. And this is Steve Berman, who, as far as I could surmise, is a fictional character. But the character is supposed to be like a Requiem exec. And it's, just going along with that. It's actually very similar to the Paul skit. It's like someone in his system that's just annoyed with how much of an edgelord he's being. But this always makes me laugh.
What's going on, man? How you doing? Good to see you again. What's up?
Am, could you come in here and have a seat, please?
Yeah.
Vanessa, shut the door.
So what's up?
I actually, a couple of years ago, I got in trouble at work, and I remember, I remember, we were all in a meeting, and my boss, he was like, "All right, everybody can go back to work except for Bobby. Can you hang back for a little while?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is not a big deal. Who knows why he's asking me to hang back?" And then he says to my coworker, "Shut the door." And I had a flashback to this skit, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm about to be chewed out." And I was.
How's orders looking for the first week?
It would be better if you gave me nothing at all. This album is less than nothing. I can't sell this fucking record. Do you know what's happening to me out there?
What's the problem?
Violet Brown told me to go fuck myself.
Who's Violet?
Tower Records told me to shove this record up my ass. You know what it feels like to be told to have a record shoved up your ass?
Well,
I'm gonna lose my fucking job over this. You know why Dre's record was so successful? He's rapping about big screen TVs, blunts, 40s, and bitches. You're rapping about homosexuals and Vicodin. I can't sell it.
That is such a funny parallel. I wonder if this idea came from the fact that like Dr. Dre probably had this conversation with Eminem. He's like, your crazy white boy horrorcore music is it's so different because like, yeah, Dr. Dre started NWA, Fuck the Police, quasi-political, but then very quickly was like, I love bitches, I love hoes, I love smoking weed. And then Slim Shady comes along and he's popping pills and having gay sex.
Shit.
In the early
Either
aughts.
change the record or it's not coming out. Now get the fuck out of my office.
What am I supposed?
Now.
All right, man. Whatever.
So this is The Way I Am. Just an amazing beat. If you put a piano in front of me, I will play this every time. Poorly.
Hey yo, turn the beat up a little bit. Hey yo.
Again, talking the intro is so cool. The song is for anyone who fuck it. Just shut up and listen. Yeah, dude, Marshall is not pulling any punches in this song. And I believe that this is also a reference to what is it? Rock Bottom on the Slim Shady LP. He says the song is dedicated to all the happy people, to all the happy people that have real nice lives and have no idea what it's like. So I think Eminem likes to do a lot of callbacks. So I think that was sort of where he was going with this. He's like, this song is dedicated. And then he just gets too frustrated. He's like, dude, just shut up and listen. And yeah, this is his magnum opus this album, the Marshall Mathers LP is his magnum opus. This might be the best song on the album, and it might be his best song ever. I think there was a post on r/Eminem asking what's Eminem's best album, and I think this by Upvotes was rated the number one, and I think I agree.
Hey yo.
I sit back with this pack of zigzags in this bag of this
So
weed.
smooth,
It gets me
dude.
the shit needed to be the most meanest MC on this earth. And since birth, I've been cursed with this curse to just curse and just blurt this berserk and bizarre shit that works and it sells and it helps in itself to relieve all this tension, dispense and these sentences getting the stress that's been eating me recently off of this.
First of all, I love how angry it is, right? I mean, people jokingly say that early Eminem is school shooter music, and I can't disagree when I'm listening to this song. It's so angry. I sit back with this bag of zigzags in this bag. It's also peak early aughts Eminem where like the multis are so on point, but it doesn't sound like rapidy rap. He's somehow able to make you like feel an emotion, and in this case, anger, while also like rhyming every few syllables. It's amazing.
Just and I rest again peacefully. But at least have the decency in you to leave me alone when you freaks see me out in the streets when I'm eating or feeding my daughter tonight.
So yeah, this album came out when I was about 10 years old, and my parents were freaked out that I was listening to something as edgy as this, right? And I remember my dad was like, "You could listen to this music, but I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna listen to it with you, right?" So we would go whenever we were in the car together. My dad was driving, I'm in the passenger seat. We would play these songs, and my dad is such an introvert, right? Like he's a very introverted man. And when we got to this part of the song where Eminem's like, "I fucking hate being famous because everyone keeps bothering me," I saw in my dad's face, he was like, "Oh, I would hate that too. Yeah. All right, this man might be corrupting my son with his filthy language, but I can relate to wanting to be left alone."
Come and speak to me. I don't know you and no, I don't owe you a motherfucking thing.
By the way, I've seen famous people a few times. I always leave them alone. I mean, I said hi to Bill Burr at a comedy club just real quick. I sort of felt like I had to because he's one of my heroes, and also I kind of look like him. You know, but I remember I used to walk dogs, and my neighbor, I'm sorry, I fucked that up. I used to walk dogs, and the neighbor of one of my clients was Alec Baldwin, right? And I didn't know that. This is on, I'm not going to say exactly where, but it was in Manhattan, pre-shooting, by the way. But I walked by him, and then I just made eye contact with him. Like we locked eyes and we kissed. No, I'm kidding. But we locked eyes, and then I kind of gave him the "what's up" thing. And then the look on his face was like, "Thank you so much for not bothering me." Cause it was clear from my head nod that I was like, that's the end of our interaction. And I mean, I don't know, if I was a huge Alec Baldwin fan, maybe I would want to talk to him, but I'm like, what am I going to do? Hey, can you take a picture with me? Like that's cringe and annoying, dude. Although I don't know. If you see me in public, please say hi, and I will take a picture with you. I might even give you a little peck on the forehead if you play your cards right.
Not Mr. Instinct, I'm not what your friends think. I'm not Mr. Friendly, I can be a brick. If you tempt me, my tank is on empty. No patience is in me, and if you offend me, I'm lifting you 10 feet. In the air, I don't care who was there and who saw me. Just joy you, will call you a lawyer, file you a lawsuit. I'll smile in the courtroom and buy you a wardrobe. I'm tired.
So that line to me is so weird. Obviously, it's a reference to the fact that already Eminem was getting sued left and right by family members, specifically his mom. And, you know, he's no stranger to being taken to court. But the idea that he's like, if you sue me, I'll smile in the courtroom and buy you a wardrobe. I don't know if is that a common settlement amongst plaintiffs and defendants? It's like, all right, listen, I'm sorry my client assaulted you, but here's a new pair of Nikes. I don't know. Apparently, as like a inside joke now, whenever Eminem's involved in a lawsuit, he buys everybody that works on the suit, like the lawyers and the paralegals, he buys them all suits, which I think is a funny bit.
You're the all. I don't mean to be mean, but that's all I can be. It's just me, and I am whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, then why would I say I am?
So this is a reference to the Rakim song. I actually don't know what the name of the Rakim song is. Rakim is a rapper from the 80s. And I remember, I think it was a YouTube comment on a Rakim video I was watching. It said Rakim was the first rapper that didn't sound like Dr. Seuss. And I think that is kind of true if you listen to some of his early stuff. And he was like around in the 80s. He's doing multis left and right where like, you know, a lot of other rappers are doing like, I went to the hat store and I bought myself a hat type stuff. And so Rakim has a song where he goes, I am the RAKIM. If I wasn't, then why would I say I am? Apparently Rakim heard this and was like, that's so cool. And I want to like hang out with Eminem. And then Rakim was also on the 8 Mile soundtrack. So there we go.
In the paper, the news every day I am. Radio won't even play my jam, cause I am whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, then why would
It's so funny that he's like, the radio won't play my music. Little did he know that was going to change.
I don't know, it's just the way I am. Sometimes I just feel like my father. I hate to be bothered.
I love this line because it's just like, he's talking about hating being famous and people bothering him in public, but he took a moment to you know, take a shot at his absentee father as well.
All of this nonsense is constant, and oh, it's just lyrical content. content. The song Guilty Conscience has gotten such rotten responses, and all of this controversy circles me, and it seems like the media immediately points a finger at me. So I point one back at him, but not the index or pinky or the ring or the thumb. It's the one you put up when you don't give a fuck.
I really don't know why he does this. It's odd, right? It just makes my fingers hurt. Also, I never like hold my, I mean, I'm not somebody that's flipping people off left and right, but like the few times I've done it, it's supposed to be like, you know, it's not like, I don't know. It's like, it's almost like doing this to someone cuts you off in traffic and you do this shit. Like that takes a lot of mental and physical energy, I think.
Just put up with the bullshit they pull, cause they full of shit too. When a dude's getting bullied and shoots up his school and they blame it on Maryland.
See, this is kind of hilarious because he's referencing Columbine once again, and he says, and they blame it on Maryland. And I mean, in the early aughts, if you had to be like, name 2 school shooter musicians, they would be like Marshall and Marilyn Manson. And what's funny about the whole Marilyn, and it turned out later that Marilyn Manson is allegedly a bad guy, but at the time it was like, wow, he's making spooky music. You know, this is Alice Cooper Part 2. How dangerous, you know, he's just doing like cringe, like I'm wearing makeup and talking about the devil and like also being sort of androgynous, you know. But yeah, people really did after the aftermath of Columbine. People were like this. They loved Marilyn Manson. That's why they did this. And there's actually been no evidence that Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold liked Marilyn Manson. Like literally, they liked like Rammstein and I forget the other KDF. I forget the acronym. It's like industrial music that I don't really listen to. But it's just so funny how the media can latch onto something, and I don't know if now it's better or worse because you have so much misinformation on social media. But at the time, like the tastemakers in the early aughts were like 4 news channels, you know? And Eminem didn't really get that much shit for Columbine because he had only been out for like literally a couple weeks before Columbine happened. So I think it would, you know, obviously it would be obvious that, you know, they didn't listen to him or whatever. But there's actually an old video of them doing the song live when Marilyn Manson comes out for a second. And he doesn't even do any, like, he doesn't sing any songs. He just like literally shows up at the concert and like waves when his part comes up. It's kind of hilarious.
And the heroin, where were the parents at? And look where it's at. Middle America, now it's a tragedy. Now it's so sad to see an upper class city having this happening.
See, this is peak leftist Eminem too. He was always an edgelord in the early aughts, but he is making the point that like Columbine is a tragedy because it happened in Middle America, right? But there's drive-by shootings that happen in the ghetto every day.
Attack Eminem cause I rap this way, but I'm glad cause they feed me the fuel that I need for the fire to burn, and it's burning and I have returned, and I am whatever you say I am.
This music video is very cool too.
I say I am. In the paper, the news, every day I am. Radio won't even play my jam cause I am.
I think in the beginning of this music video is actually the instrumental to Kim, which we're going to talk about later, of course.
The news, every day I am. I don't know, it's just the way I am. I'm so sick and tired of being admired that I wish that I would just die or get fired and drop from my label. Let's stop with the fables. I'm not going to be able to top on my name is.
He's not going to be able to top on my name is that. Well, it turned out he was wrong, right? This is honestly like, I think of it, and this is going to sound corny as hell. So trigger warning for corniness, but I think whenever I'm like, fuck, I'm finished. I can't like, you know, I'm a creative person. And I think whenever you're a creative person, you wonder like, am I out of shit? You know, did I peak? I'm not even successful and I might've peaked, but I always think of like a young Marshall being like, I wrote My Name Is, and that's the only hit I'll ever write. And boy, was he wrong.
Pigeonholed into some poppy sensation that caught me rotation at rock and roll stations, and I just do not got the patience to deal with these cocky Caucasians who think I'm
so I think I referenced this when I was doing my Kill You video, my reaction to the song Kill You, which is the first song on this album. He says, motherfuckers want me to come on their radio shows just to argue with them because their ratings stink. And I think that's clearly a reference to his appearance on the Howard Stern show. And I think this is also a reference to him being on Howard Stern. When he was on Howard Stern, Howard and everybody else in the studio and even people calling in just assumed that he was a joke and a one-hit wonder. And Howard Stern is kind of trolling him the whole time. You know, he was like, oh, you talk like a black guy. And Eminem was like, man, that's just how I talk. You know what I'm saying? And like, I think Howard Stern is actually on record as saying, I regret treating him that way because Marshall's never been back. You know, he's actually very select. He won't go on like non-rap podcasts now, which is probably, yeah, I think the last like non-hip hop interview he did was with Anderson Cooper in like 2010 or something.
Nigga who just tries to be black, cause I talk with an accent and grab on my balls, so they always keep asking the same fucking questions.
Yeah, so he says, you know, they think I'm some wigger who just tries to be black. It's like, when you watch that Howard Stern interview, they cannot conceive of the idea that like Marshall grew up in a black neighborhood in Detroit, and that's why he talks like that, right? So they're just like, they're used to Vanilla Ice. They just thought he was another Vanilla Ice dude. And that's the thing, is like, it is the cringiest thing possible when you meet like a Malibu's Most Wanted type guy, right? Where, you know, like I grew up in upstate New York, where it was like 3,000 people, mostly white, right? And we had kids that would like talk like a black guy, and that's cringe. But like, if you grow up in a black neighborhood, you're gonna talk and have like mannerisms like a black guy.
What school did I go to? What hood I grew up in? The why, the who, what, when, the where, and the how. Till I'm grabbing my hair and I'm tearing it out. Cause they driving me crazy.
Also, Eminem is in his early 50s and he still does not have a receding hairline, which I think is, I mean, his hairline looks better than mine does, right? And I'm 20 years younger. So, but he has to stop dyeing his hair black. His hair is jet black at 50. We kind of all know he's dyeing it. I think that's why he has like the hat with the hood over it, right? Because he doesn't want that Rudy Giuliani moment where the Just for Men is like rolling down the side of his cheek, which I get, but like now he's officially a grandpa. I think he could, you know, fess up to the fact that he's got at least gray at the temples.
Can't take it, I'm racing, I'm pacing, I stand and I sit, and I'm thankful for every fan that I get, but I can't take a shit in the bathroom without someone standing by it.
I'm just laughing because, again, I'm thinking about my dad listening to this line and being like, ugh, I don't like this guy and his influence on my son, but I would simply hate if someone was sitting outside the stall while I was taking a shit. By the way, I'm a huge Eminem fan. If I knew he was in the stall in the bathroom, I would not bother him. Don't bother a man while he's shitting. In fact, he's one of those celebrities that like, I love him so much, but like pause, but I think I would leave him alone because he's so introverted. He probably wouldn't enjoy an interaction with me at all. I mean, most people don't. Just joking. But yeah.
No, I won't sign your autograph. You can call me an asshole. I'm glad because I am.
So that might be a reference to a line he has in My Name Is, where he said, this guy at White Castle asked my autograph, so I signed it. Dear Dave, thanks for the support, asshole. There's also an old VH1 episode, you know, where they have that like nostalgia thing. And there was one with a not quite so famous Dave Chappelle talking about Eminem. And at the end of that segment, they have Eminem from My Name Is going, Dear Dave, thanks for the support, asshole. It's pretty funny.
Whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, then why would I say I am?
The bells too. The bells are fucking cool.
Radio won't even play my jam, 'cause I am.
As cringe as this sounds, dude, if I'm like not feeling in the gym in a particular day, I put this song on and then I'm ready to go.
I don't know, it's just the way I am.
I want to say this is the first song of Eminem's that Eminem produced himself. I think he was having a conversation with Dr. Dre, and Dr. Dre was like, hey, if you have ideas for beats, you don't have to have technical prowess. If you tell the sound engineer what you want him to do, then you're a producer, right? And yeah, maybe that's true. So guys, that's the way I am. Let me know if you want me to do more videos like this in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.